What up, what up, what up, what up? This your boy Kemetic Energy.
It's your boy Kray New.
And this is the Dirty. This is the Dirty.
It's the Dirty 30, y'all.
The Dirty 30, man. What's poppin', Kray?
What's poppin', y'all?
It's really good, man.
True. This is should be a continuation of what we was talking about last time.
It's all about balance, man. So I want to start off by asking you a question, right? So what is your definition of toxic masculinity?
What is my definition of toxic masculinity?
Yeah.
What is that? What does that even mean?
So,
what is the standard definition? Because I've never heard of that before.
Toxic masculinity is pretty much cultural pressures for men to behave a certain way. So it's pretty much
so almost like kind of almost similar to sexism.
Yeah. It refers to the notion that some people's idea of manliness perpetuates domination, homophobia, and aggression. So
like stereotypes.
Kind of being that tough macho man shit.
Okay. What's my definition of it?
What's your viewpoint of it? How do you feel just with me giving you that basic definition of it?
Do I feel like men have to be of that stereotype or that connotation or narrative or whatever you want?
Right. Do you feel like it exists? And if you do or don't, why? And how do you feel about it?
It definitely exists. That part is definitely obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can go anywhere in the world where there isn't a certain expectation of both men and women to be of a certain stereotype. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or definition. But how do I feel about it?
Yeah.
I think it has its uses. I think it has I think it can be positive and can be negative. That goes into a whole balance thing. It just depends on like perspective too. Because I think it's a necessary, but then in some cases it's unnecessary. And I think people wield it and use it to their own benefit.
So elaborate on that. So when do you feel like it's necessary?
I feel like it's necessary in family situations. Like everybody has a role in the household. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's not not built the same. You know what I'm saying? Some people are stronger in certain areas than others. And when we look into the family household, and this doesn't mean that everybody's house has to be like this, but like, let's think about it. Let's be real. Mm-hmm. When we think about protection, and you think like not like comforting protection, but more so like about that action type of protection.
Okay.
It's different between a mother and a father. There's a reason why these two components are built differently and they look differently. You know what I'm saying? Because women are built in a way that's more just naturally. You know what I'm saying? They're built in a way where it's for plush. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When you think about your mom, she has all the cushy parts. You know what I'm saying? Or you think about no, I'm being real though. But if you
see what you're saying. Go ahead.
If you look at the design of a woman, they have cushy parts on their chest, you know what I'm saying? Cushy parts on their back. So regardless of which way you hold them from, they always feel like something comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Something that you want to hold, something that you want to be close to. When you think about a man is built with the design of taking drama, you know what I'm saying? Or trauma, taking punishment and shit like that. Because a lot more times our mentals are geared towards action type events. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's fighting, sports, these events and sports are created around our mental thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how we're built with that design of wanting to go wanting to go to battle. You know what I'm saying? Like competition and shit like that. Like nobody wants to just stand there and hug a man for all. You know what I'm saying? But so we take that and we translate it into the household. The mother protects the inner circle of the home. You know what I'm saying? And the father roams the perimeter pretty much, you know what I'm saying, taking care of everything that's on the outside of the home. You know what I'm saying? The children help the mother and they help, you know what I'm saying, and they develop accordingly to how they're raised and stuff like that. But they have to be taken care of in a nurturing way by the mother. If we look at the birds sit on their eggs. The man doesn't sit on the eggs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you do have some birds where they will take over for the female every now and then, but it's not the same body type. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to nurturing, you have to have a certain type of feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Men don't. We normally, a lot of times we have such a rough feel, even when we're being nurturing.
But see that, I see what you're saying, but that sounds like masculinity. So when do you think that masculinity can become toxic?
It becomes toxic when people use it in a selfish manner. Like, if you're like, oh, I fuck so many girls and stuff because that's just my manly nature. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you start using it to justify why you're harming people's, not even harming people's feelings, why you're disturbing the contract that you have placed with the individual that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? If me and you have a mutual agreement that I'm not going to be messing with other women, or I'm not going to be doing this and doing that, you know what I'm saying? I have to respect that agreement. Now, if I do go and do it, and then I justify it because I'm a man, it's my nature. Now you just trying to find an escape route for
fuck shit that you're doing.
Exactly, for lack of better terminology. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's the same thing with a woman. Like when a woman's like, where she, okay, let's take this for instance. When a woman, I can't think of a good one right now. You said what?
When a woman is single and jumping from dude to dude?
Nah, because that's just something that people single, that's what single people do. I mean, saying that's what they're supposed to do. It's not nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about as far as like a woman using it to their justification why they do stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if a woman goes out and is like spending hella bread, you know, she in a relationship and y'all together and shit, and she just spending money and shit like that. The man is supposed to provide. You know what I'm saying? She don't have no job. She don't want to, help with the shit. She just spending money, and you over here working for money and shit and replenishing money. And her reason for going out here buying shoes, you know, I'm a woman. I gotta have my shoes. I gotta look good. You know what I'm saying? So you're using your sexuality to justify incredibly bad habits. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So like that becomes an error. Like, I wear a weave because I'm a real, you know what I'm saying? This is, as a woman, this is how I'm supposed to be. This is how I'm supposed to look as a woman. This is how I'm supposed to talk as a woman. As a man, you supposed to go and do this and do this and do this for me. A man is supposed to open the door because I'm a lady. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So it's like, when you start trying to use your sexuality to justify doing dumb shit or stupid shit, I feel like that's toxic. Because why can't a woman open the door for a man?
Yeah. So, well, okay. So I want to switch this over to the balance. Okay. In terms of the household family structure, right? As the man of the house, right? You dealing with your kids, right? Specifically your son. Okay. How do you balance between toxic masculinity and what could potentially be femininity? towards your son in particular. You see what I'm trying to say? How do you raise your son? Because it's in this day and age, man, it's hard to, I would honestly say it's hard to be masculine out here. You see what I'm saying? Because the minute that you try to be masculine to a certain extent, somebody wants to say you're representing toxic masculinity. You see what I'm saying? It's like you get cornered. You get cornered and put into a box. So, as a father raising a son in this day and age, how do you balance between trying to raise your son to be masculine without being toxic, and I don't want to say fighting off a masculine femininity that can come into play, but do you see where I'm going with the question? How do you, I don't want to say avoid that shit, but
let me jump into it before I confuse myself.
Okay.
All right, so based off of what you're saying, how do you raise your son in a society today that's made to believe that anything masculine is seen as negative, can be confused as toxic masculinity, right?
Yeah. All right, so before you go into it, because I feel like in today's society, and this is just my opinion, I feel like there's an agenda behind the whole masculinity thing. Everything being toxic masculine, I feel like you're trying to bring down the masculinity to bring up some femininity within a masculine person.
I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Fuck the world. Mm-hmm. You can't raise your children according to what the world wants you to do. That shit is not relevant, bro. It's not relevant. You have to raise your children according to your nature. You know what I'm saying? If you know that this is how you are, and you know that you got issues and shit too, then you have to teach your son how to, one, manage self-control so that they can ask themselves these questions and handle issues and problems accordingly to their nature, which they possess from you and your wife or whoever you're with at the time. The thing about it is, like, masculinity and femininity, it's all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have masculine and feminine nature because we're both from both aspects of human beings. Yeah. So where I have my father's features, I also have my mother's features as well. You know what I'm saying? So you can never get rid of that. It's engraved into your DNA. But if you're out of touch with that feminine energy, you don't know how to control yourself fully. The only thing you know is how to control and manipulate your masculinity and shit. But like, another thing about it too is like, when you raising these kids and even just going through life, you have to understand that regardless of what people say, there's always gender specific. You know what I'm saying? There's masculinity and there's feminine. There's people who are more manly and people who are more womanly and shit. You cannot fucking deny that shit. There's certain shit that women have that men don't, and there's a reason for that. There's certain things that men have that women don't, and there's a reason for that. There's certain reasons why their emotions and our emotions activate differently because of those things that we have. And that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? When you try to step outside of that boundary, like that nature, that's what I'm saying. It's all about nature. When you stepping outside of nature and shit, now you going into a realm that you don't know anything about because you don't live in that realm. You live in the realm that we live in now, this physical realm that we live in. That's what we are. So when I look at you, you're a boy to me. When you look at me, I'm a boy to you. How the fuck do you live by this standard for eons, right? And then all of a sudden a new generation comes and says that the title man and woman is irrelevant What is a man? What is a woman? Nigga, if I look at you and you look like a woman, you're a woman. But if you were born as a man, you're a man that looks like a woman.
Now, a lot of people would disagree with you on that. I'm
And
not saying I would,
and
but
I feel them when they go back and say it's a psychological thing, it's a mental thing. But nigga, I can't see your fucking psychological. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do you make these judgments and determinations for yourself based off of what somebody's thinking when you can't see somebody's thoughts? You just see what's on their outer appearance.
I mean,
this is how people make cognitive decisions of whether what they want to eat and what they don't want to eat, where they want to go and where they don't want to go, based off of perception. So if you perceive yourself as a woman, then I come in and find out that you're a man, you're lying to me. So it's not even the fact that you're a man trying to be a woman, it's the fact that you're hiding who you truly are and giving me this image that, you know, but this is the point. I don't mean to like go on a rant, my bad. But this is the point that I wanted to get to, like when you first started. Like, what everybody has to understand is that all women want a man.
Elaborate on that.
Regardless of how you think about it, every woman wants a man. Why? Because why do you have women dating women who one woman acts like a woman, one woman acts like a man? Why do you use male body parts, either fake or real, when having sex? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that women feel that, oh, I can't deal with a man, I'm gonna get a woman who don't look like a man, but she gotta have that, you know what I'm saying? There's always gotta be that variation. Somebody has to have that masculine energy.
Yeah.
Or at least a dominating sense of it. You know, and a lot of times what's funny about this shit is a lot of times the ones that are supposed to look like the men are the ones who act more femaleish than the ones that look like the female in the relationships.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like we all have this masculine energy. We all have this feminine energy. Some people's are just a little more elevated than others. But we're always looking for the opposite of us. Even whether it looks like us or it feels like, you know what I'm saying? Even whether it looks like the opposite or it feels like the opposite.
Yeah.
So, you know, raising a child, you get that's what you gotta understand. Like, dude, you're a boy. This is why you're a boy. These are your natures. These are your characteristics. What do you feel like inside? I can't judge. I can't make judgment on that. You know what I'm saying? Only you can just, you know, that's how I feel about it, dog.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because one thing about it is I see how, from what you're saying, how you would raise your son, but how do you combat that with the external environment? What you do in the household, I understand. And you say, fuck everything else over here. But it's hard to say that when the son is constantly seeing this from a space that you don't have any control over, which is the external environment, school, the things that happen outside of it, where he's being influenced.
But this is the difference. This is the thing, though. When you showing your child your fortitude in a situation that you can't control, when you show your son that you can control yourself regardless of what's going on around you, he's also seeing that. You know what I'm saying? And he's learning that as well. Like, a lot of times we forget that our sons and daughters look up to us first. And then based off of how we're acting and reacting to situations is how they're going to potentially later on become. You know what I'm saying? So if you see your father like in a wild situation and it's just all OD wild, and he sees that you're calm, collected, and you're assertive within your masculine energy, you know what I'm saying? But you also know how to move your feminine energy when necessary, because we need that shit,
Yeah,
dog.
right.
Feminine energy is what allows us to care. It's what allows us to love. It's what allows us to uh um uh basically submit to certain shit. Because as men, oftentimes we submit to our daughters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We submit to little girls. We submit to our little sisters and shit like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because we don't want to hurt them. But that's that feminine energy that allows us to be caring of that. When you have too much masculine energy, it's like as a man, you always gotta be ready for some bullshit.
But that goes into the balance.
That goes into the balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Women have that same thing because there's girls out here who can beat up some boys and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a different, you can't separate it. You can't be like, oh, well, women can do everything that a man can do. It's like, can they produce sperm? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like that might seem so minuscule, but a seed is very, 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 very important. Because without the seed, what is there?
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? You can't plant anything.
Yeah.
What y'all going to inseminate from fucking animals and shit? You know what I'm saying? So everything that's in that seed comes from the being that is the seed is within. So everything that we eat and everything that we become and everything that we have to go through, it goes into our DNA, and all of that is forced out through our semen. You know what I'm saying? Who move through the womb, into the woman. She nurtures that, she incubates that, and it's produced as a direct replica of both of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, we go back to the woman have a nurturing type of nature. She has a place for children already. But the child resides in us first.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. I see just what you mean, man.
So like, it's like people trying to separate, like, they don't want to classify as men, or they trying to get rid of the man and the woman, and women and men can use the bathroom the same, and all this other crazy shit, right?
Yeah. And
you wanna, it's like me and you, we wanna understand how these people feel, but when you look at nature, it's okay to be homosexual, bisexual. There's homosexual and bisexual animals. You know what I'm saying? Trees, But you can't deny the fact that there has to be two spectrums in order for there to be any type of continuity or
duality.
Any type of phases. You know what I'm saying? A phase is constantly going back and forth from one point to the next. You know what I'm saying? Without this in this end, or this spectrum and this spectrum, you don't have anything in between. So
there's no middle point.
Exactly. So how do you get rid of a man and a woman's role? Like, how do you get rid of that? And then everybody can be a woman or a female or a man, and you can identify as anything. Like, how is that okay? How is that not psychologically fucked up? How do you not need therapy for that type of shit?
Yeah.
You completely disassociate from what you were born as. To me, bro, that's a psychological issue, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they say self-love is loving yourself for who you are, right? But if you're harming yourself to change what you are to become something of what you think you should be,
and that could be traumatic. That can manifest itself as trauma.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, like, because you think you're a woman, right? So I'm sorry, but it's not cutting your penis off self-mutilation. It's not taking these drugs and these pills to grow your estrogen and shit like that, or levels to grow boobs. Is that not self a contortion and shit. You're changing your molecular structure of who you are, bro. Oh God,
you're altering your structure.
So now you're saying that you're a mistake. So
some people do believe that.
So how, like, my thing is, if you change yourself, how can you truly say that you love yourself if you had to go through all of this pain to become something that you made up? So that leads me to believe, like, is it real? Do you you say, well, I feel like I am who I'm supposed to be. It's like, do you? Or is that just like how you make yourself, how you put yourself to sleep at night? And I don't want to get canceled. Honestly, I don't give a fuck, because like, anybody can speak free thought. If you got something to say, if you don't agree with what I say, then you can say it. I'm willing to understand, but at the same time, like, let's be real about these things, dog.
Yeah. You gotta have a safe space to at least speak your mind, man. That's what this is, pretty much.
But I feel like when people start trying to express how they feel about this whole concept of, like, canceling the male, I just don't. Okay, I get it. Men, we have fucked up over the years, yo. We have severely fucked up. We've treated women like shit. We've treated children like shit. You've got men who go out here and rape people and do all this fucked up ass stuff, and it's crazy, dog. We take control and we fucked up. So honestly, the world kind of does have a right to hate us to a certain extent, but it's not. It doesn't make it right, I just, like, men are really going through it right now, dog. Anything you kind of do is seen as like negative,
Yeah.
But I mean, I get what you're saying about this negative. Now I understand kind of now, like, what you say about this negative masculinity shit.
Yeah.
That's
like,
what
toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
How you feel about it?
I don't know. Cause it's like, when it comes to toxic masculinity, I feel like that's a blanket term that they can use anytime they want to. Anything that I can do can be considered toxic masculinity. Like I say, I feel like there's an agenda behind that. I feel like there's an agenda behind that.
Okay, so you saying you feel like there's an agenda to get rid of that?
Yeah.
But why?
Not to get rid of toxic masculinity.
I mean, like, get rid of masculinity.
Yes. There's an agenda to get rid of masculinity. Not to get rid of it, but to bring it down significant. To bring up the rise of, I don't even know if it's a real term, but masculine femininity. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So and my thing is, you be who you are, you do what you want. I can't judge you on that. I'm cool with people who are gay, you do you. But when there's an agenda behind bringing me down and bringing them up, like using me as your footstool, that's a problem. You feel what I'm saying? That's where it becomes an issue. Why does one have to get knocked down so one can so another one can rise? That's fucked up.
But that's the balance, though.
That and
like all honesty, that's real live shit. Like,
I feel like that's a problem, though. I feel like that is an agenda that is so fucked up.
It is fucked up, dog. But think about this shit, dog. Men have been suppressing everybody for years.
Yeah.
Men have been suppressing women's ability to grow. Men have been suppressing their children's ability to grow. Men have been suppressing the opposite, the transgenders and the homosexuals and gays and all of that type of stuff. Like, straight men, you know what I'm saying? Or supposedly straight men. This overly masculine understanding of what manhood is has been suppressing for years. I don't know where that shit comes from.
I think honestly in that regard, I feel like it's stupid. This whole macho man bullshit, I never did agree with that shit from the jump. Ever since I was young, I always thought the shit was stupid.
So it's kind of
anytime you got to sit up here and just try to tout yourself and make yourself known that you masculine and you a man, I think you a bitch.
But see, all of that shit is driven from media.
It is.
And then it trickles into society, and then society forces their children and stuff to grow like that, and then it just goes cycled up. But the thing about it, I'm trying to get to is like, it's almost kind of like we need to be suppressed a little bit. Because America is one way, but around the world is completely different.
You're right.
Niggas is way more drastic as far as manlyhood is concerned. They slap it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard about situations like women can't do this, you know what I'm saying, out in public. My mother was slapped on the steps in front of everybody, and you know, she was completely humiliated and embarrassed, and nobody said anything because she's a woman. And it's like shit like that. It'd be like
that's another.
That shit's fucked up, man.
Yeah, that's some fuck shit.
Not trying to say that other countries, you know, not trying to talk about any other country and their culture, but it's fucked up. Mm-hmm. It's fucked up to be a man and go to war and rape women and shit. Mm-hmm. Because you at war and ain't nobody see you. Like, why is that a thing, son?
Yeah, that shit is wrong.
Women can't rape men. Can they stick their pussy inside of you? You know, no, they can't, son. So it's like, honestly, like we kind of getting what we deserve from all the years of just torment, son. It's like we the big brothers who was just beating up on our little sisters and shit. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, oh, okay, we gonna take some of y'all and make y'all like us and beat and gather together and beat y'all asses back.
So we getting the karmic energy is what you
pretty much. It says in the Bible in Exodus, sons will raise up against their fathers. That's one of the signs of the end of the world. So you kind of take that. I always thought of it like it was just sons gonna be like turning on their dads and trying to kill them and beat them and shit. But really, it's like they're going against their nature. They're going against the nature of what their fathers believed that, you know what I'm saying, was supposed to be. They're following in the nature of the woman. So now we wearing purses and dresses and shit like that. And I mean, niggas always was wearing dresses. Let's be real. Niggas was wearing skirts, them kilts and shit. In Africa, motherfuckers was covering their penises with. That's a fucking dress. Okay? It's a skirt. It just has a different name. But it's the same shit. And colorful. And them shits do look cool as fuck. But you gonna walk down the street in that shit? You know?
Yeah. Different
purses and stuff. You know, like, we have to be very careful about what we select as feminine. Because everything that we label as feminine can be dated back to a place where we were making them for men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Satchels, purses.
Yeah.
Dresses, skirts, kilts, and, you know, whatever, you know, what we was wearing in Africa and shit. You know what I'm saying? We, you know, it's just, we just always revert back. But then, like, what happens with society is we let the advertisers and the media control our perception of what life is supposed to be like.
I feel like that's always been the biggest problem we had. Because I always said, who makes these fucking rules? And it's really, like you said, it's the influence from the media that's doing it.
It's hypnotizing, bro. Yeah. Because, like, it's no reason why when I get on my phone, the first thing I do is click on Instagram without even realizing it. It's like, oh, I ain't mean to go to this. That's a trained, you know,
a program.
Right.
Programming, yeah.
They're programming you to keep swiping, keep your mind focused on this world, so you're not focused on this world. You know what I'm saying? And when we do open our eyes, we not able to deal with the shit because we like, whoa, when did that happen? You know what I'm saying? When did bathrooms start getting singular?
Yeah.
I don't know. When you say agenda, I get a little bit. Because then I'm like, all right, tactically, if there is an agenda, what would all of this shit be for? You know, for what cause? For what purpose? Like, why go through all of this? You know, why go through an agenda where you're training kids how to accept homosexuality continuously? Like, you're drilling it into their brain. But one half wants me to believe that it's a way for it's helping us to accept others. But then, like, on the other hand, it's like, are they just trying to subdue us? You know what I'm saying? Trying to pacify us or make us passive, or, you know what I'm saying? So we're, you know, docile. And we're not aggressive to the changes and shit that they want to make. You know? Because, like this, Tupac said this: before you hit 30, that's when you got the most energy. You know what I'm saying? That's when you the most wildest. You know what I'm saying? You the most rebellious. You got
late 20s, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You the most rebellious. You got the most heart. After 30, you just kind of start thinking differently and shit. And you niggas want to chill. He was like, you don't see no 30-year-olds out here wilding out and shit on those steps and shit like that.
Exactly.
Although now, as blacks, we have to push it up into that 30s. Because we fighting this fight and we can't afford to quit. But, you know, so with that being said, if you attack the children at 5 years old and they grow up to not be as aggressive and, you know, have as much fight, because everything is accepted now. So we believe that the government's working with us as opposed to against us. So if they ask us to get a shot, they don't want to harm us. They want to help us, right? Because they allow gay rights and shit. So they care about the people because this is what we want. You know, they abolished abortion and shit. So they care about us because they don't want us to kill our babies, right? So anytime they ask us to go in the house at 9 o'clock for curfew because some fuck shit is going on, we gonna be like, oh, okay. They're not trying to hurt us. They just want to make sure we're okay. That's what they've been doing this whole time, right?
But when do you take the blinders off?
Dog.
Like, somebody thinking like that, when do they take those damn blinders off?
It's up to the people 30 and up. Because we know what the world was like before this bullshit. Or at least before, you know, they came along. Like, we know what the bullshit is. But when we die, they not going, if we don't never say nothing, they gonna grow up and then they gonna teach their kids how to be weaker and their kids how to be weaker. And everybody just ultimately starts shifting over into this sheep, like proverbial sheep type mentality.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Sheep don't fight. You know what I'm saying? They're passive as fuck. And they're eaten from. And it's, you know, they're stripped of their fucking wool and their milk, and they're basically just used as tools and shit for someone else's fucking pleasure.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, man.
As adults, as us 30s, we have to be more like wolves, bro. We have to band together and take down the prey, son. Like,
yeah. I don't know what the outlook on society is looking like, man. Like, I don't know where are we headed towards? Like,
I would say some would say that we're headed towards a communist, more communist or dictatorship type of situation.
I can agree with that.
I could see the communism before dictatorship, but it's like I don't even know if we wouldn't. Let's not even call it that because it's probably going to be labeled as some new hybrid terminology. You know what I'm saying? Like some fusion between dictatorship and democracy, dictatorship, and fucking communist, comedic, some shit. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna rename it.
Comedictorious shit. I don't fucking know, son.
Sort of like how they doing with this recession, right?
Sort of how they doing with our sexuality.
Yeah, that too. That too.
They're gonna take all of this shit, blend it into one. So, and they trying to get us docile because that shot, I'm telling you, bro, it was something in that shit, son. That shit not gonna come out for another 5, 10, 20 years and some shit, but that shit gonna come out.
Now we talking about monkeypox.
Bro, it was something. I don't know what the fucking agenda with that was, bro, but that shit was a hot topic and it just fell off. And now it's just kind of like, ain't nobody talking about shit, but motherfuckers are still catching COVID like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. I think they said San Francisco just declared emergency with the monkeypox.
So I'm just kind of like, they was urging us to get this shit. They knew it wasn't going to help. They was having buy 2-for-1 sales, my nigga. They was selling TVs with the joint, bro.
I read something that the lead doctor, Dr. Fauci, I think that's his name. Okay. He said he was not the one that ordered people to do pretty much do the quarantines. Like everybody staying indoors. He said he never ordered that shit. So now we going around to deniability, I guess. Everybody's just going to deny.
Yo, everybody, it feel like everybody is about this deniability right now. Like, we're going to just deny that the GDP numbers was not negative for 2 whole fucking quarters. And that we not in a recession. We just not going even, by definition, we supposed to be in a recession, but we not, because we just feel that way.
I mean, that shit. Shout out to Larry Jones, man. He said it best. It's pretty much a freaking house on fire, but somebody standing in the door, closing the door, saying that the house is straight.
Right.
Smoke, but
it's not that bad.
We're good, yeah.
We're good, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like, how do you... Yo, that's crazy as shit, son. It's like... Oh, man, if you could be in a room with these people and just kind of see what their motives are. Like, imagine, like, just me and you just sitting in the room with these people on a first name basis with them and just listening to the conversations, listening to how they're talking about the economy. Like it's a video game or some shit. For real, son. They probably see the world as a video game, son. Like, they got bread. They ain't hurting. They eat whenever they want to eat. They sleep whenever they feel like it. Yeah. You know, the only thing they got to deal with is just like press and like, you know,
they shit not like that. About the public, they don't care about the public outcry because they don't.
It's like there's a few people who dictate how our world looks. They're like, okay, how do we push the consumer towards these directives and stuff so that we can raise this up and then work this over here to build this structure and shit like that. It's like herding sheep.
Essentially.
You know, so we like, oh yeah, the sheep are getting riled up. Go out there and comfort them, make them feel like there aren't wolves circling this motherfucker. Like ready to eat their ass and shit. Go make them feel good and shit. Oh, little sheep, it's not as bad. You know, don't look into the darkness. The wolves is not high. It ain't nothing out there. It's just darkness. You don't have nothing to worry about, you know? The sheep is like, oh, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
That's why you got to protect yourself. I don't know, man. I know we coming up on time, but
I don't care. So we could keep going. Shit.
Here we go again. But I want to bring this little last thing up, and this is going to probably carry over to with the girls with Dirty Mouth Radio. I want to talk about the state that we are in as a country, right? Now, we got the whole Roe v. Wade overturning. Now you hear about banning assault rifles and all this other stuff. You hear, we already talked about COVID. Like, where, for you, Kray, how do you see the state that we're in now compared to how we were in with Trump and how we were in with Obama? Do you feel like we're worse? Do you feel like it's going to change? How do you feel about this compared to how we were in like the last 10 years, honestly?
I think it's just organized chaos. I think they've been planning for these moments since
Mm-hmm.
Obama. I know that Obama wasn't an mistake. They did it
Yeah.
on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's done without reason. It's all media. It's all fucking smokes and mirrors and tricks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's what you understand when you study communications. You realize that everything on television, on media related, is control. It has a script.
Yeah.
So I feel like the politicians are following a script and they don't even realize it.
Mm.
Because I don't think that they know that they in the trick bag as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
they making decisions based off of something that's planned by a very small group, an inner circle. The people who pretty much have the most wealth in the world. You can do whatever the fuck they want to do, but or the families, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I don't think it's like I think it's always been worse. I think that it's just that the stuff that's kind of been hidden is a little more,
Blatant.
yeah, it's a little more obvious now. It's
Yeah.
a lot more obvious now, honestly. Think about how
Blatant
much
in your
shit
face.
think about how much stuff they used to hide from us back in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s and stuff compared to now. Like everything is just out.
Yeah.
We showing executions on TV, on the news.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just we got way more access to it, but they have to let a certain amount of they have to allow a certain amount of access to push the fear.
Mm.
Because after a while, what happens to us as people, we become um
More like
desensitized.
Mm.
We become
Yeah.
desensitized, and it's not as scary anymore. So we become accepting of it. So then they have to push it more. Like, okay, let more information leak. We're gonna leak information about UFOs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna leak information about we're gonna allow homosexuality, allow people to change. But now we're gonna try to accept it. You know what I'm saying? Because at first we try to ignore it. We try to act like, oh, don't say nothing, don't mean nothing. Now it's like say something. So now everybody's just like in their bag and shit. Like, oh my god, like what's happening in the world? Like, motherfucker, this shit always been like this. It's always been transvestites and shit. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's always been people who were gay. There was always women who love women and shit. Who was LGBTQ community and shit. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Whatever. But like, we making groups based off of sex now.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, I get it. They have to protect themselves. They have been fucking treated pretty badly over yeah. Whatever.
What's the time? Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like in some departments it's getting better, but in a lot of other departments that we're not paying attention to, it's getting worse.
Mm.
Like the financial space,
Mm-hmm.
the dollar, the wealth gap,
Mm-hmm.
especially between blacks and everybody else we live around and shit. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I understand, but it's like it's fucked up. I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
Education.
I just wanted just a little snippet of how you felt about that shit.
Yeah, man. I just, I don't feel like I feel like it's always been worse. It's just more obvious now. Like they just letting it leak out a lot more. And that's all to control, run by fear and shit like that. So
yeah, I totally agree with you.
I really want to know what's going on over there and with the Russians and that whole situation, because I ain't really heard a lot about it lately at all.
Yeah,
they ain't been talking about that shit at all.
I've been seeing a little bit, but I ain't seeing much.
Everybody's talking about this whole Donald Trump and the insurrection shit.
This is about balance, cuz. This is about balance, man.
Yeah, but this got to do with balance too, though. Well, I guess this is more so like
bring it up on the episode, man.
I don't know. Just the cycle. Okay, that's not balance. It's more like cycles. We'll call it that. It's a cycle, but
I totally agree.
But I mean, yeah. Nah, go ahead.
You know what I was about to do, man.
I know. Go ahead, close it out.
With that being said, this is your boy, Kemetic Energy.
And your boy Kray New, man.
This is the Dirty 30, produced by Livewire Sound and Entertainment.
Dirty 30, baby.
Yep. Have a good night, peoples.
Dirty Love Radio.